Hello and welcome back to Fallout 76. Today we're going to have a look at my Commando-Rifleman-Gunslinger-Guerilla build. Now the goal for this build was to be able to use any kind of rifle or pistol, whether it be semi-automatic or automatic, and still be effective with those weapons. I also wanted to make this build something that would be easy to replicate even if it was a brand new player. So I did a level 20 start, and I started with the commando start. It doesn't really matter which one you would use, but the main reason I started with a level 20 is because you end up with 22 extra perk coins, which helps us rank up our legendary perks quicker. And since I wanted it to be something that even a new player could do, I am only using the perks that would be available to a newer player. Now, the way the legendary perks work is the first slot opens up at level 50, and they open up at each 50 levels. So level 50, level 100, all the way up to 300, level 300, where you'll have 6 legendary perk slots available, and that unlocks it for your entire account. So if you have one character on your account at level 300, that means any new characters you start will automatically have 6 legendary perk slots available right from the get-go. But since I'm doing this from the point of view of a new player, I'm going to play this as if I don't have any other characters, which means I only have one legendary perk slot available because this character is level 75. And I've had enough perk coins to be able to rank up follow through. That will be our first legendary perk, at least the one I decided to take. Because we are using 4 different kinds of weapons, basically, we're using automatic and semi-automatic pistols and rifles. We're going to have to make compromises when it comes to the perks that we use for those weapons. And we want to increase damage any way we can. If we have any chance to increase damage for all of our weapons, we're going to take it. And this is the first spot where we do that. This will make all of our sneak attacks. This will give us more damage for all of our sneak attacks, and this will be a stealth build. So first under strength, and this is where the first compromises are going to have to be made. So I do have traveling pharmacy maxed out just because chem weight really does add up. So anytime you carry stim packs, Radaway, any kind of chems, it will really add up. So reducing the weight on that I think is pretty important. So traveling pharmacy, but here we have a couple of compromises. I would ideally like to have Bandolier at rank 2, but we just don't have the points for it. So rank 1 will do just fine for now. And blocker, I would like to have rank 3. Now, we are a stealth build, so the point is to not be attacked at all, but that will happen, especially if you do events, just because stealth is broken in events so much. So we are having blocker at rank 1. It's a little bit less damage that we take from melee attacks. It's not a lot, but it is a little bit, and it also helps with our armor, because if you don't reduce incoming damage from melee attacks, your armor absorbs that, and it will wear out quicker. So ideally, once you start getting legendary perks and you have some special points you can add in, I want to rank blocker up to rank 3 and bandolier up to rank 2. So I have all of the rifleman cards and all of the commando cards, but I just have rank 1 of each, just because I don't have the room to do more than that. So we got rank 1 of each, but tank killer works on all of our rifles and all of our pistols, so we want that maxed out. Also have 1 rank of concentrated fire so we can target individual limbs. Here's another spot of compromise. We're just going with a base endurance of 1, and we have fireproof rank 1. It would be nice to have that up to rank 3, but anything we could do to reduce this is mainly for explosions, not necessarily for flame attacks, but mainly to reduce the damage from explosions. This is another area where when I start getting them and have legendary specials, I'd want to rank this up. Or have a dense chest piece or something with the armor, which I don't have that either. So this is what we got now. Basically, our defense, our primary defense is to stay hidden. That is what will be at the build, at least to start. Now here's another perk that will increase damage for all of our weapons, and that is Tenderizer, so we max that out because we can. Now Party Boy, this is actually a very helpful perk. We will be using Sweetwater Special Blend, and this will triple the effects of that, which will really help with our VATS accuracy. As a newer player, you probably don't have a lot of materials, you probably don't have a lot of repair kits, so I'm using Gunsmith to keep our weapon condition as high as possible for as long as possible. So agility is extremely crowded in terms of beneficial perks, so there's all kinds of compromise going on here, but we have all the gunslinger perks and all of the guerrilla perks, but we have 1 rank of each, but that still takes up 6 points. Here we have covert operative, which will increase the damage from all of our sneak attacks, so we want to have this maxed out. We want to stay hidden as much as possible, so sneak is maxed out as well. And we are also using escape artist for the same reason. Gunfu is doubly beneficial. Number 1, it'll automatically swap targets and VATS, but I find that it also helps keeping VATS locked on. If you don't use this perk, sometimes your gun will just drop out of VATS for no apparent reason, and I find that Gunfu helps with that a lot. And we have 1 rank of adrenaline for when we're facing multiple enemies. We can increase our damage up to 36%. Now, Bloody Mess is another one of those perks that increases damage for all of your weapons. That's why we have it maxed out. Now, one thing you can do, because some of our mutations that we're using will actually reduce our strength, and not everyone is okay with that because it does hurt your carry weight. I don't actually mind in this case, but some people do. You could swap this out for Class Freak to reduce the negatives of the mutations if you wanted to. I don't run it that way. I like Bloody Mess. I'd rather have the extra damage and just not carry so much. But it is a critical build, so we have better criticals, which will increase our critical damage, and we have critical savvy, which will increase the frequency of our critical hits. And we're also using starch genes because we have mutations and we want to hold on to those mutations. And we will be using food. We'll only be using 3 different types of foods, but we don't want them to spoil, so I'm using good with salt. Now, as far as the mutation goes, now, first of all, acquiring the mutations, I actually got all of the serums in player vendors. I didn't get help from another character, and I didn't get help from friends. I just jumped onto random servers, and it was really easy. A lot of players sell serums just because they sell quickly, and it's really easy caps. I paid anywhere between $250 and $400 per serum, so it doesn't cost that much, and the benefits are huge. So we have Speed Demon, which gives us faster movement speed, but the real reason is the reload speed. That extra reload speed is really noticeable. We have Herd Mentality because it's extra special points that are free. All you have to do is be on a team, even if you're on a team with nobody. So right now, my character's on a team by himself on a private server, and I'm getting +2 to all my specials. If I had Strange in Numbers and I was on a team with another player that had a mutated character, that would actually be +3. So Herd Mentality is really easy special points. I'm using Herbivore because the foods we are using are veggie, and this will double the benefits. I have Eagle Eyes for extra perception, which increases VAT's accuracy and extra critical damage. Bird Bones, which is extra agility, +4 agility. That increases our stealth and also gives us more action points. And you can see the well hydrated and fully fed. That is another reason to do food. Even if you don't use a Herd Mentality and you don't care about food buffs, it still is beneficial to keep your food and drink meters full, just because fully fed increases your maximum health, your maximum strength. It says disease resist. I'm not convinced that actually does anything, but it does say that increases disease resistance. Well hydrated, AP regen, 25%. So we're not fully hydrated yet. We will be once we get going. That actually goes up to 35% with fully hydrated. So it is very beneficial to keep your food and drink meters full. And here are the foods we are going to be using. Only 3 of the foods, and 2 of them are extremely easy. So Company Tea, which is AP regen of +20%. We do not run Action Boy on this build, and we don't have armor with AP refresh. So this is what we're depending on completely, and it's really good. Company Tea is super easy. Now, this is Season 15, which is where we are when I'm recording this. On the Season 15 scoreboard, at rank 25, there's actually a Company Tea generator, which is a camp item. It generates 1 Company Tea for every 10 minutes and holds up to 5. So this is something you don't have to craft or anything. Just build the Company Tea generator and you're set. Sweetwater Special Blend. This is another one that we don't have to craft. Now, that is why we're using Party Boy, because it triples the benefit of this. It is considered alcohol. Normally, that would be perception of 4, but it's increasing it by 12, which is not quite double what we are starting with, but that's a huge benefit as well. You will notice the VAX accuracy with an extra 12 perception. And if we had Strange in Numbers, that would actually be +15. And Company Tea, Strange in Numbers, it would be 25% AP regen, and both of these foods last an hour. So as far as the Sweetwater Special Blend goes, that is part of a daily quest. If you go to the giant teapot and speak to Sweetwater, he is just a Mr. Handy. He'll give you a daily quest, and in exchange for 10 honey, he will give you 6 Sweetwater Special Blend and 6 honey back. So that's a once a day thing. So it's easy to stay stocked with it. You'd never have to craft it. And the last food that we're using, we do have to craft, but it's very easy and it's very beneficial. So we have Blight Soup, which gives us critical damage of +100%, and that food lasts for 30 minutes. To craft Blight Soup, all it takes is Blight, boiled water, and wood. And Blight is kind of all over the ash heap, but what I do is I actually would just go to Welch, fast travel to Welch, and go south, and you'll find it all over the place. You could, you could spend 5 minutes doing this. You'll get enough to craft 30 or 40. It's very easy, and it's very well worth doing. Now, as far as our armor goes, because I want this to be something anyone can replicate, none of it is legendary. This is just standard gear. I'm using 4 of the pieces. The limbs are heavy combat. I have them all modded the same. They're shadowed and they're ultra light. And these are all mods you can buy and the plans you can buy. You can buy the heavy combat armor plans, you can buy the ultralight mod, and you can buy the shadowed mod. So there's no random chance involved. This is something anybody can do. The only one I don't have modified with ultralight is this combat piece, and it's actually sturdy. And the only reason I'm using sturdy instead of heavy is because the sturdy piece happened to drop for me, so I figured why not? It's not a huge difference in terms of resistance. So you can see our damage resist, it's 171 ballistic, 168 energy. That's not terribly high, but because everything is shadowed, staying hidden is basically the bulk of our defense. And I'm not necessarily recommending that you should use this armor specifically. This is just what I'm using because it's easy to get your hands on, it's very balanced, and anybody can do it. Now, as far as our guns go, again, we are going with all non-legendary gear, so think of this build as kind of a baseline. You can improve it a lot. You can improve it by having legendary perks, which increases your special points. All those places where we had to make compromises, we can fix that a lot. Legendary gear, obviously, will increase your effectiveness a lot, increase your defense, increase your damage. So this is kind of the baseline, and we're still pretty effective with it. So for the gunslinger, for the semi-automatic pistol, I decided to go with a 10mm. I like the 10mm. Number one, you can get the plan really cheap and really early. It's all over at responder vendors, which means learning mods is pretty easy. 10mm are pretty common, and if you craft them at level 1 to scrap them, the mods are really easy to learn as well, and they're pretty cheap to craft. So this is what we are using. We do have it modified with a calibrated receiver for extra critical damage, and we're using a perforating magazine for armor penetration, the 40% armor penetration, and of course we do have it suppressed. This is very basic looking. So for our automatic pistol, I decided to use a pipe. I like pipe pistols. They're fun. Again, learning the mods is easy. Pipe weapons are super plentiful, and you know the plan by default. One way you can get the plans is actually doing Nuka World on tour events, and you can actually use your Nukacade points that you get in the machines and get level 1 pipe guns and just scrap them. So that's actually what I did for this character, and you can learn pretty much most of your mods that way. Again, I have this modified with the tweaked automatic. That is extra critical damage. We don't have any armor penetration on this. I decided to maximize it. Well, it's not maximized for VATS efficiency. You could actually use a quick magazine, get our AP cost down to 4, but I like have it because it is an automatic. I decided we go with the ammo capacity of 15 instead of 12, and it is suppressed as well. Now for our rifleman, we are using a hunting rifle. Hunting rifles are another one of those. They're very plentiful, so there are lots of them available to scrap and craft for mods, and you actually can get the plan really early. You get it from the Wayward quest line as one of the earlier rewards on that part of the quest line, so you can get this plan without even paying for it. Now, I do have it modified with a calibrated receiver, again, with critical hits. That is the theme for the build. We are using a perforating magazine for 40% armor penetration, and it is suppressed as well. And for our commando, we are using a fixer, which is something you can get as a guaranteed drop. So the fixer, for those that don't know, the fixer is basically an upgraded combat rifle. So it uses combat rifle mods. Combat rifles are plentiful as well. If you kill high-level Scorch, they will frequently drop combat rifles that you can scrap for mods. Now, the quest for the quest that gives you a fixer, rather, Lewisburg Station. If you go there, read the posters on the wall, it will actually give you a quest. It'll tell you to go to Van Lowe Taxidermy, which is right here in Lewisburg. And at the end of the quest, or towards the end of that quest, you actually get a fixer as a quest reward, but it will be leveled to you. So you want to wait until you're level 50 to do that quest. Otherwise, you're going to get a fixer that's not high enough leveled. I'm using a focused automatic receiver because that's one that I know. I would rather have tweaked automatic for extra critical damage, but I haven't learned that mod yet. I haven't unlocked it, so we're just going to go with what we've got. I am using a perforating magazine for the 40% armor penetration, so our damage is actually pretty good, and we do have it suppressed as well. But you can see our AP cost is actually pretty high at 11. Oh, and for apparel, I'm using road leathers, which is a plan you can buy from Raider vendors, and I have it modified with resistant lighting. So that's not the max level lighting, but it is one you can buy. What you really want is shielded, but that is a random drop from either party packs or Savage Divide events, but it does give us an extra 1 perception and 2 agility. And if this was shielded, it would actually be 3 perception, 3 agility, and 1 luck, but we are not there yet. So first up, we've got our gunslinger part. We've got our 10mm, our semi-automatic 10mm pistol, and since we still need to unlock combat rifle mods, whoops, birdcage is in the way. Let's see if we can find some combat rifles. Well, as long as we can stay hidden, we can do better damage. Yeah, nice damage. Obviously, Scorched aren't heavily armored. Yeah, Scorched aren't heavily armored. We will be fighting tougher enemies, but we're gonna start off. Oh, we got some turrets there too. But yeah, if you are farming combat rifle mods, this is actually a pretty good place to go because higher level Scorched will frequently drop combat rifles. Of course, now they're all dropping hunting rifles and double barrel shotguns, but they will frequently drop combat rifles. Oh, there we go. I didn't even see him right there in my face. And yeah, oh, there's a combat rifle. Perfect. Maybe one of these will unlock the mods that we need. I think we're still missing a few that I would like to be using on that fixer. Should be a few, but as you can see, we're able to stay hidden just fine. I mean, even though our stats are not maxed out, I mean, there's a lot we can do, but another combat rifle, nice. But we are able to stay hidden pretty easily. Scorched aren't necessarily the most, but yeah, we're able to stay hidden really well. That shadowed makes a big difference. I've heard that the best defense is a good offense, but not being seen is also a really good defense. Now we're in caution, but now we're hidden again. Let's see if we can find another combat rifle. All right, couple of combat rifles, more chances to pick up those mods we need. Another one bites the dust. Hopefully he's got something I'm looking for, and he doesn't. But I think at this point we have kind of used up our welcome here, and we are ready to move on to a tougher area. So now it's time to do a little rifleman with our hunting rifle. Now I find the hunting rifle to be, if you get the right legendary effects and you're optimized for it, it's actually really good. In this case, we're not fully optimized for it, and it's not legendary, so it'll be a little tougher to use. Let's see, combat inhibitor. We're not going to one-shot anything or two-shot things. Robots tend to be pretty heavily armored, but that's okay. We'll get the job done. I mean, that is why we want to stay hidden. There we go. Let's see. We don't really need a critical, but we use it anyway because reasons. There is something. Oh, here we go. We've got a... There we go. Nice. But yeah, I would really say, okay, critical hits will finish off most things. And we should be critting every third shot, I think. I think I calculated the luck properly, that we should be critting every third shot. So we are leaning on those heavily. So yeah, critical hits and staying hidden are big parts of this build. Now we've got our pipe gun working, our automatic pipe pistol, and gotta say, I love pipe pistols, and if you can ever get your hands on one that's quad, that is a perfect combination because you'll be reloading a lot having this as an automatic, but you can take things down. All you need is a lot of ammo, and as long as we stay hidden, that is a key here because the damage on this is not very high, so you want to stay hidden because once you're detected, your damage will drop quite a bit. It'll be noticeable. Not to mention that the ammo capacity is only 15, which isn't that high for something that's automatic. I could put a drum magazine on it, but that's going to slow our reloads down. It only holds 3 more. I think it hurts our AP cost. I forgot to check, but this is a good balance. We'll be able to take this guy down, but it may take a minute. And he's ancient. He's that's not good. Okay, now I'm in danger. All right, let's see. I did a stim pack. Let's try and use our escape artist to see if we can get back into caution. Since our defense involves... okay, no, that didn't work. That didn't work at all. We're going to try and get back into caution just because it's going to be so expensive ammo-wise to... there we go, caution. Okay, so... okay, someone threw something at us. He's blind throwing. There's one back here. All right, let's take care of him. Okay, he's way down there. Let's take care of these other ones that aren't behemoths first. Let's see, not, all right, there we go. Back into caution. Make sure this guy doesn't flank us. We'll take care of him in a minute, but yeah, we're taking care of him just fine. Definitely 38 ammo is cheap and plentiful, and it's a good thing because you will use a lot of it, but this gun is just, it's so much fun. I love pipe guns. I think they're great. There we go. All right, there's our behemoth. Hopefully, I took care of everyone else, so hopefully we can finish him off without someone hitting us with missiles. Yeah, there we go. Goes down, well, I won't say easy, but relatively easy. Look at that. And of course, eviction notice popped up just now, but I am on a private server by myself. And as good as I think the character is doing, I don't think I'm quite ready to solo eviction notice. I'm comfortable kind of going into area. Oh, and I did cop a squatter. That's not why I came here, but I did complete cop a squatter. Probably got something heavy because that's what you get. Yeah, railway rifle. Oh, just a scope. Okay, heavy combat armor chest piece. Okay, I can make that would be an upgrade. So my goal is to take out a dragon here. I do feel comfortable going into any area against any enemies with this this build and this combination of weapons. And if I somehow manage to get legendary stuff, you can see that uses up our AP, but it comes back pretty quickly. That's without Action Boy, without any armor giving us AP regen. So that is just a level 75. Of course, that is our levels. So yeah, we could take down anything pretty much. Oh, looks like we've got a 2-for-1 here. If I can get his attention. Another Scorch Beast, why not? Do both of them. Now, obviously, if this was a tweaked automatic, I would have taken him down quicker, and I think the AP would be, AP cost would be less as well. But with what we've got, we're still doing just fine. And there you have it, my Commando-Rifleman-Gunslinger-Guerilla build. It's been a lot of fun to play. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Thank you very much.